guys, it's Lindsay. I have a Yogalates routine for you today, which is focusing on back flexibility and strength. So we're going to slowly heat up the spine, strengthen the legs, open the quads, and then get into some deep postures like Dhanurasana, Urdhva Dhanurasana, Frog Pose. So let's give it a go. So we're going to start on our belly in Sphinx Pose. So you'll lay flat on your belly. You're going to bring your forearms down on the mat. Your elbows will be directly underneath your shoulders. Make sure they're not splaying out to the sides. Press the tops of your feet down to engage your thighs. Open your chest up and isometrically pull your upper body through your arms. Imagine your arms are in cement and you're trying to drag them back, but they won't be able to go anywhere. And lift up through the heart and take 3 deep breaths here. And breathing in and out through your nose. And find your second round of breath. And then take a final breath here in. On exhale, we're going to lower all the way back down. We're going to come into a low cobra. Hands underneath the shoulders, elbows hug the ribs. Lengthen your tailbone to your heels. Vacuum your belly button in and up so it's not resting on the ground. And then opening the heart as you lift up just halfway. I want the lift to come from your mid-back, so if you lift up too high, it's going to go straight into that low back area. But again, think of pulling the hands back to lift the heart forward rather than up. 3 breaths here. Breathe in and out. And very actively hug those elbows in. Firm your thighs in and up. Last breath in and out. And then lowering down. If you're pretty flexible, you'll keep your hands right underneath your shoulders. If not, you can move them higher up. You're going to come higher, press your pubic bone down, lift your belly. And then this time you're going to straighten your arms, but still feel that connection of shoulder to shoulder sliding towards the back. Drop your shoulders down and lift your heart up. And breathe here. 3 deep breaths once again. Try to allow the ribs to open up, but coil the tailbone back towards the heels. And maybe lifting the gaze a little. Good. And then exhale, lowering down. We're going to press back into a child's pose. Toes together, knees wider than your hips. Sit your hips back. Walk both hands to the left. Right hand over left. Interlace the fingers. Shift your hips to the right. You'll fold down with your head, but lift up with your abs. So try to dome out your spine. Lift your ribs into your upper back. Lean your body, lean your hips to the right, creating this big opening in the right lat, right armpit area. And then on your exhale, shift your hips left, walk your hands right, and interlace your left hand on top of your right hand. Folding down, and then lift up from your mid-back. Pull your middle rib cage area into your middle upper back. And roll your chest right so you feel this big opening in the left side body. Good, and then release. We're going to come up to all fours. Hands are going underneath your shoulders. We're just going to turn the fingers out to the side wall so we get deeper into the chest. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. And then exhale, round your back, push the floor away from you, kick the feet down, push the hands down. Inhale, reverse. Open the collarbone, lift the sits bones, and exhale, round. Good, give me 2 more, warming the spine up. Inhale, heart up, tail up. Exhale, ribs, belly up. The last one, inhale, open the heart. And exhale, round your spine. And then come to a flat back and walk your hands up. Come up to kneeling and face me. You're gonna step your right foot out to the right. Foot's in line with the left knee, and seal the pinky toe edge of that right foot to the mat. Make sure we're not rolling into the inner arch of the foot. We're gonna come down onto your left hand underneath your shoulder, and then stretch your right arm up. Good, now press your hips forward and lean your chest back. We're gonna think about creating a long line from your right fingertips to the right outer edge of your foot. Now I'm gonna take this up a little bit. If this is where you need to stay, you'll stay right here. We're gonna hover this right foot up, engage your outer hip, pull your shoulders down, and then start to bend your heel back, grab your right foot with your right hand. Again, press your hips forward, kick your foot back and begin to arch the spine. And breathe into your heart. We're here for 3. And find a little bit more depth. Shoulders melt towards the spine for 2. And then gently releasing on 1. Inhale, stretching long. And exhale, taking it down to the mat. Let's just switch sides. So stepping this right foot in, left leg left. Seal the outer edge of the left foot to the mat. Line it up with the right knee. Right hand underneath the shoulder. Left arm stretches up and over. First, lengthen both sides of the spine. Try to touch the wall over your head and stamp your left foot to the mat. Good, pull the shoulders out of the neck. And then if you're ready, you're gonna lift your left foot up. Good, firm your outer hip. We're in parallel with that left leg. Lengthen your tailbone towards your left heel, pressing the hips forward. And then bend your left heel, grab it with your left hand. Begin to kick the foot back to widen the chest. That feels really nice. Good, first big back bend of the day. Then take 3 breaths here. And maybe sending the heart forward and kicking your foot back a little deeper. And on your final breath, big deep inhale. And a full exhale, release with control. Don't slingshot. And then we're gonna take it down to kneeling. Okay, come to lie on your left side. Gonna heat the legs up a little bit. Support your head with your left hand. Legs are gonna go straight out in front of you, so my body is making an L. Feet in line with hips. Stick your butt back. I do not want your top hip to be jutting forward. Pull it back in space. Lift your right leg up, and we're just going to hold it at hip height. Imagine you have a glass of wine right here. That's motivation. Slowly lift and lower so there's no momentum. Good. If there's momentum, you're going to lose some of that wine, and that would not be very exciting. I would be pretty bummed about that. Good. Now I want you to squeeze, isometrically draw into that right glute. It's important to have strong legs to support these back bends so that all of the work is not from your chest or your back. Good. We want to make sure the legs are very engaged here. Good. Lift and lower. A little up and down. Good. Maybe resting your hand just to add on to a little bit more weight to that leg. Now keep your leg up. We're gonna go small circles. Really, really small moves today. Not very dynamic, controlled. Good, and then just reverse those circles for me. Make sure your butt is still sticking back. Bring your leg at hip height. You're gonna soften the knee joint and then lengthen and squeeze your tush. It's a very small bend and extend. You probably can barely see that I'm bending my knee. I don't want it to look like this. We're making these motions more isometric, meaning it's not quite so dynamic. There's not as much movement. Good, give me 4. And 3 for 2. Last one, hold the lift. You're gonna turn the leg in and turn the leg out. Thigh bone spins in, thigh bone turns out. Roll the thigh to the floor, turn the thigh to the ceiling. Getting that Pilates leg muscle going on right here. So think length, stretch through the back of the heel. Abs are engaged. Relax your neck and shoulders. Try not to make them work here. Give me 4 more, spinning in from the top of the thigh and out. For 3. Woo, start to shake. For 2. For 1, and 1, and then take a rest. Coming on up, we're just gonna flip it over, other side. Laying on this right side. Remember, the body is in an L shape, so feet in line with your hip creases, not down here. Here, stick your tush back. Scooch, scooch, scooch. Lift your bottom waist up, abs engaged. Reach your left leg up to the height of your hip, and it's a small lift and lower. Good. Yes, the second side will instantly feel it a little more, because what we don't realize the first time we do these side lying exercises is the bottom leg is stabilizing you don't really feel it, and then the second time you're like, oh, okay, why is this already burning? Good, up an inch and down an inch. Barely moving. Good, you're creating that resistance for yourself. Like your leg weighs 100 pounds, it's hard to lower and lift it. And you could even set your hand on your leg, give it a little extra. Good, up an inch and down an inch, really small. We're going to take it to those circles, legs at hip height, little circle here. Another way to tell if momentum's coming into the movement is if your upper body is swinging around. That means that you're out of control. So reel it in a little bit. The motion doesn't have to be big in order to get the benefits from it, or the toning of the muscle, or the leg strength that you're looking for. Good, and then just reverse those circles for me. Good, check in with your breath. Check in if you're holding tension anywhere in the body. Just try to soften, let it go. Good, hold the leg at hip height. We're softening the knee joint and extending and squeezing. Every time I straighten my leg, I want to firm in to that left glute. Give it a nice tight squeeze. Squeeze as you press. Ooh, I'm starting to feel that heat here. Good, don't drop that leg. It should burn. Good, last two. You're gonna hold your legs straight on one. We're gonna spin the toes and knee down from the top of the thigh. Spin the toes and knees up. Toes and knee turn in, toes and knee turn out. We're rotating the leg in the hip socket. The leg should stay at the same height and the same length the whole time. Good, it's movement all the way from your leg in the socket. Okay, turn in, turn out. We also don't want this top hip to be rolling around. So remember, momentum is not here. We're in control, which is really important for back bends. Proper alignment. Good, give me four more. 4. Keep it up at hip height. 3, 2, woo, 1, and 1. And then rest it down. Awesome. Let's come on to our bellies. Legs are gonna go straight back behind you. We're gonna go deeper into these back bends now that we've got those legs engaged. So start by placing your right forearm down across your chest. Good. Press your hips into the mat. Grab the outside of your left foot with your left hand. Pull it in. You can even rest your head down if you're more flexible. It's really important to press the hips into the mat here. That's going to intensify this quad stretch. Good, nice tight pull. You should feel your pubic bone grounded to the mat. Good, release. You're gonna stretch your right arm out to the right, palm down, roll the right shoulder into your back, and then you're gonna roll onto your right side and rest your head. Good, maybe you stay right here. This could be enough for the opening of the right shoulder. Make sure that the shoulder blades pull down. You could add the back bend as well by bending your left foot towards your tush. Kick your left foot back. Send your chest towards the wall in front of you. Good, abs lifted. Oh, that feels so nice. Getting deep into these shoulders today. Good, give me 2 more deep breaths. Good, gently release, roll to your belly. Okay, left forearm down across the body on the mat. We're gonna take it to that quad stretch on the right leg. So pull the right heel in, press the hip bones down, and you can rest your head. Begin to open up this right thigh. It's important to open the front line of the body in order to get really deep into those back bends. Each back bend we'll do today, we'll just kind of add on, so it'll get a little deeper, a little bit more intense, a little more advanced. Release, we're gonna go for that shoulder opener on the left side. Palm reaches out, roll the left shoulder into the back, so I don't want it hunched up. Pull it onto the back. Walk your body right, you're gonna roll onto your left side. Maybe you're right here, maybe you plant the right foot down. Maybe you add the back bend, right hand reaches back for your right foot or ankle. You're gonna start to kick your leg back, We want to lower the knee down to hip height. Send your chest forward as your foot kicks back. And gently engage your glutes. Not a huge squeeze. Good, and then breathe into the chest. Good, last 2 big breaths. And gently release. Okay, this time you're gonna stack both of your forearms down and you'll completely rest your head on your forearms. Head stays attached to the forearms the whole time. Turn your legs out, legs stay on the ground. Engage your tush, push it into the floor. Shoulders out of the ears. On your inhale, lift your chest up. Eyes to the ground, head on your arms. Exhale, lower down. We are moving into strengthening the muscles in the back. I don't want there to be motion here, so if you're lifting up so powerfully that it feels like you're rocking your body like a boat, you need to slow it down. Good, make sure you pause at the top and hold the lift. Good, find more space between the tops of your shoulders and the tops of your ears. Good, give me one more right here. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, lowering down. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna take it into half frog. So you're gonna take your right hand on the forearm down again. Pull your left heel to your tush. Now you're going to pivot your left fingertips so they point forward. We're getting a little deeper. This is gonna go shoulder stretch and hip stretch. If you're flexible here, you're gonna continue to push the heel down. Maybe you're more flexible than me and you can get your heel outside of your hip. Now we're gonna start to square off by turning our hips and our shoulders forward. Good, that left elbow should be pointing straight back behind you. Try not to let it bow out to the side. Good, reach the heart forward and finding your breath here. Good, and then you'll gently release. We're gonna take this into rocking. So you have the same foot, we're gonna just hold the inside of the foot with your palm. You're gonna walk your right hand a little bit further forward. As you kick your left foot into your hand, press into your right palm, lift up, and then lower down, lean forward. Press into your right hand, lift up, lower the elbow down, lean forward. Good, so we're creating this rocking motion. Half rocking, this is a Pilates exercise. Shoulders and hips square to the wall in front of you, sending the body weight back and forward. Give me 2 more. Inhale, lift up, reach your left toes to the ceiling. Last one, big lift, and lower it down. Okay, let's take it over to the other side. So we've got our left forearm down. We're gonna take our right hand to our inside of our right foot, push the heel toward your butt, spin the fingers forward. Then hug the elbow and the shoulder blade to the back. Push the heel down if you have space for the stretch, and then start to square off. Turn your shoulders straight forward. This squaring off could come with time. If you're really tight in your shoulders, that's gonna be challenging. Lift the heart and reach your sits bones towards the mat behind you. Good. Nice big stretch through the front of that right shoulder here. Okay, now we're gonna release that top of the foot, hold the inside of the right foot, walk your left forearm further out, palm down. As you kick your right foot up into your hand, you're gonna press up onto your left palm and lift up. We're gonna half back bend. Then you're gonna rock your body forward and lower down. Good, inhale, press back, lift up, try to square straight forward, and exhale, lower down. Good, begin to find this rocking motion of the body, forward and back with the help of the left hand. And now make sure you're using your right leg. Your right leg is engaged. It's helping you lift up. And last one here. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, lowering down. Okay guys, we're gonna take a downward dog. Plant your hands down. Wrap your elbows in, tuck your toes, lift your hips up. And take 5 deep breaths here. We have made it through our warm-up. That was just the warm-up. Now we're gonna get into the deep postures. So some of these postures to you might seem inaccessible as of now, and that means just keep working those warm-up moves that we worked on and gently come into the next poses. If you're more flexible, they'll be more accessible, but one day you'll get there. Just keep practicing. Good, okay, coming down. We're all the way into Dhanurasana. So this is bow pose. You're gonna lay on your belly. You grab your outside ankles with both hands. Hug the knees in so they're in 6 bones distance apart. Press your pubic bone to the floor. Make sure that your knees do not splay out. On your inhale, begin to lift your thighs up, lift your chest up, lift your gaze up. Good. Continue to find height and length. Heart forward, feet kick back. If you have the space, coming up a little higher. Roll the inner thighs towards the ground. Hug the outer knees in. Last 3, 2, and 1. Release. Beautiful. Press back, downward dog. Good, just countering out that work. 2 big deep breaths here. Draw the rib cage in and up. And we're gonna come back down onto our belly for Paschimottanasana. This one's a little crazy. So it's pretty much the same start. Grab the outsides of the feet. Open the heart up. We're gonna lift up into Dhanurasana. And now you're gonna roll on to your right side. Kick your feet back, send your chest forward, and breathe. Square your shoulders and your hips to the front wall. Make sure your knees aren't bowing out. Hug them in like there's a ball between your thighs. Reach the top of your head back towards your toes. Good, big expression here of the spine. And then roll back onto your belly. You gotta need some momentum. Inhale, lift it up and roll over to the left. Good, kick your feet back. Roll your knees together. Open your heart. Good, shoulders down and together on the back. Reach your head back for your toes. And exhale, coming back to center. Release. Okay, let's go Ragdoll. So forward fold, you're gonna walk your feet in. We're gonna grab opposite elbow with opposite hand. And we're just gonna hang here for about 5 deep breaths. Knees soft. This is to counter out all that deep back bend work we just did. Good, more flexible straight legs, less flexible bend those knees. Woo, good work, guys. Awesome. And then we're gonna take it down to kneeling. Okay, so we're gonna get a little deeper into the quads. We're gonna step our left foot forward. You may need a wall or a chair for your left hand if you don't feel like your balance is very good. Otherwise, left hand, left thigh, right hand outer edge of the right foot. Square the hips forward, draw the hip bones up, and then begin to pull, whoop, gotta find my balance, pull your right heel in toward your back body. To help with the balance, think of pulling your front heel and your back knee together. This is gonna create an inner thigh connection. That's that feeling of being in cement with your left foot and your right knee, but you're still trying to drag them in. And now grow tall, lift up through the spine. Good. Nice. Keep breathing, couple more moments here. Good, now releasing your right foot gently. Step your left foot back, let's switch it up. Right foot forward in line with your hip underneath your knee. You grab the outside edge of your left foot with your left hand. Right hand either to a chair or a wall. Square your hips, draw your right hip back, left hip forward, and then tuck your pelvis, pull it up. Good, and then we're getting into that left quad, so pull your heel in towards the back body, and then start to lift up, grow taller through your spine. Nice deep stretching here. Lead with your chest. Pull the rib cage in, make sure they're not back bending here. This is a non-back bend one. Good, and then gently release. Okay, we've made it to Dhanurasana, Dhanurasana that is. We're going into a back bend, a full back bend. Maybe this isn't in your practice yet, so you can just watch, get some notes, and practice when you are ready. So our main thing is with the legs. We do not want the knees rolling out. We want the inner thighs to roll down. The whole foot is grounded, feet, knees, and hips in one line. We'll lay down on our backs, and then we're gonna take our hands right by our shoulders. Fingertips point towards your shoulders. Your elbows, they should also hug in. The biggest thing I see here is this. We wanna hug the elbows in. So imagine your elbows are wrapped up in a ribbon and they can't roll out to the side. Lift your hips, press up into your hands, come to the top of your head. Roll your inner thighs down, hug your elbows in, and then you'll start to bring weight into your hands and slowly lift up. Good, arms are lengthening, full palms planted, and let's take 5 deep breaths here. The neck should just be hanging. Think about all of the elements we've been working. Shoulder blades down and together. Tailbone reaching away from you towards your heels. Inner thighs rolling to the mat. And 3 deep breaths. Push up out of your hands. Good, last breath. Good, and then bend your elbows, set the top of your head down, and roll it to the floor. Good, hug your knees into your chest, just to release that low back. I'm gonna do one more back bend here. I'm gonna give an option for a little bit more advanced position. Also, if you need a modify and your back is done, because we've done a lot of work, you can totally do bridge pose, which would be feet planted, just the hips lifted, like this. Okay, so here's our next back bend. Same setup, feet in line with your hips. Press your low back down, scooping the pelvis. Plant your hands by your shoulders, outer arms hug in. We're gonna take a big inhale, come to the crown of your head. Find your setup. Then begin to straighten your arms. Send your chest through your arms this time. And then maybe you walk your feet in. Roll the inner thighs down again and press your pubic bone to the sky. Good, heart to the wall that you're looking at, knees to the wall that you cannot see. Good, last 2 breaths. And taking your final exhale, let's melt it down and lay on your back. That was awesome, guys. Let's just give those knees a nice hug in. Excellent work. We're gonna move into our cool down. So bring yourself on up. Pigeon pose is my absolute favorite. So we're gonna have the left leg in front, right leg comes behind you. So option here, if you're not as flexible, pull your left heel closer to your body. If you are more flexible, you'll walk that foot out. Another option for not as flexible, you might need to put books or blocks underneath your hands to stay higher. We want to square the hips, right hip forward, left hip crease back. All of these alignment details are going to give you a much better stretch. So it might sound like a lot of work, but if you're not feeling the stretch, just kind of review what I just said, and I hope that it gets you into that place. So you can stay lifted or start to fold forward, which will feel really good on that low back because it did a lot of work today. Put your heart towards the wall in front of you. Press your back foot into the ground. And breathe. I'm gonna rest my head for about 3 breaths, so join me here. You deserved it. Okay, let's lift on up out of this side, and we're gonna move over to the right. So let's just bring that right leg through. So again, heel closer to you if you're less flexible. Hands can be propped up on blocks. Important to roll the back knee to the floor. Make sure your toes are in line with your legs. And then maybe, my more flexible friends, walk that right foot out. Flex your foot, reach the inner arch of the foot out. Roll the left hip forward, right hip back, and start to fold. Oh, that feels excellent after all of that work. Good, lengthen the whole spine, think flat back. Good, and then as you're ready, let's take it all the way down if that feels good for you. Rest your head, 3 deep breaths. And then lifting up. We're gonna come into Paschimottanasana. Straight legs out in front of you. If you cannot sit up straight and you're dumping in your low back, you need to put something under your butt so you can sit up straight. Otherwise, legs out straight, lifted spine, flex your feet, reach forward with your chest, grab for the outer edges of your feet, clasp your hands is also an option, and then fold. If you need to go a little less deep, just hold your legs and pull forward with your arms. But for this one, I do want you to round your back, just to kind of release a little deeper. Maybe you're even more flexible, you can walk your arms overhead. And then let's walk it back in. We're gonna come into Sukhasana, cross your ankles, and find a nice tall spine. I'm gonna take a couple moments to just deeply breathe. Rest the back of your palms on your knees. Just close your eyes, or you can gently gaze over the tip of your nose, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Helps me to drop in if I close my eyes. So I'm gonna shut my eyes here. And we're gonna just listen to our breath. I want you to find where your breath is in your body. And if you feel like your breath is all caught up in your chest and in your shoulders, I want you to try to bring your breath down into your belly. So that as you take your inhales, you feel this big lift and expansion of your core. And as you take your exhales, you feel a softening all the way from the shoulders to the belly. Let's find 4 big breaths here to finish it off. Allow every breath in and out to get a little deeper. Good, big breath in. Deep breath out. Last breath here of class. Fullest breath of the day. Fully breathe in all the way till the chest rises up towards the chin. Sip in a little bit more air at the top. And then exhale, fully release. Allow the shoulders to melt. Bow your chin. Namaste. Good work. Thank you for joining me for our back bend, flexibility, and strengthening class. It was fun for me. I really love postures that are challenging. I absolutely love back bends. I think that we're always so rounded forwards nowadays. So for me to just open up feels amazing, and I hope that you feel the same. And I will see you on the next workout or yoga class.